People online love seeing a big muscular guy look like he's in pain. How's that feel?
Good.
Yeah, I saw your feet. You were doing some balancing stuff.
Yeah, I walk on a slack line, a tightrope.
Mm-hmm.
So I walk on a tightrope, and then I do most of my leg exercises and stuff like that on a Bosu ball.
Okay. You said like a tight. That's incredible.
Yeah. One of those things I just decided to do one day, and built a park, sort of a slackline park in my backyard, and practice and practice and practice.
I've almost died walking on the straight sidewalk. I tell people that like I'm a beneficiary of like modern medicine. I would have died at like 13. I'm one of the people I've actually run into like a light pole.
Oh my God, walking. Yeah, my first trainer that I ever had knew that I had a very bad ADHD, so I had to really push the exercises and stuff, and combine them with a lot of balance and a lot of core, so that I would not wander off.
Yeah.
Still this day when I count, I always leave out the number 7 whenever I'm doing exercises. So I have to always add more, like if I'm doing 10, I have to do 11 because I never count the number 7.
Huh. Like a superstitious thing?
Yeah, I think I just rush. I rush through life too much.
Okay.
And I think leaving off the number 7 somehow makes me feel like I get ahead.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's like everyone abbreviates when they like, you know, text. So.
Right. We haven't had a good new one in a while.
I guess some of the stuff I see on like TikTok, I like. They come up with new stuff. I'm just like, I don't know what this is. I recognize I got old when I didn't. It took me a while to understand what the word "yeet" meant. And then when I, found out, I'm like, oh, I just don't get that. I'm like, oh, I guess that means you're getting old.
Yeah, you think about our grandparents and stuff. Well, at least my grandparents never got on a plane their entire life, and it's just.
Imagine like talking to people my age or older, who deal with kids. I worked on a teacher who she didn't understand what kids meant by you ate that for the longest time. She's a musician, so she would do well, and the kids would say, "Oh, you ate that." Like, I don't understand what that means. I just ask my younger cousins sometimes. I get, is this a compliment?
Yeah.
Like, did they just insult me? I remember the first time I said something to someone, it was kind of like, when I was like, oh, that's kind of messed up, and the kid said, oof, and I was like, that was kind of rude. I didn't understand at the time. I was like, something you do like to like commiserate with someone.
No.
getting older. I had my little breakdown 2 years ago. But that was just because I realized that I was now old enough that I can have an 18-year-old son.
Oh yeah, that's the tough one, yeah.
I was like, oh, there's some dude out there buying a cigarette legally and he could actually be my son.
I think mine is just watching, parents or kids or people I grew up with, now their grandkids are having, or their kids are having kids now.
Yeah.
And I still think of their kids as little bitty,
Yeah.
Like, she can't be getting married. She's only 7 now. And they're like, she's 28.
Yeah. And she has a 7-year-old.
Right.
And then I realized recently I view everyone under 16 as like being like a child. Like,
Oh yeah.
Like I basically view like 16-year-olds and like 10-year-olds as like the same thing. Like, okay.
Of course, we thought we were adults at 16.
Yeah.
How old are you now?
I'm 38.
Oh, okay, yeah. You're into those hard life lessons now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw a funny video on TikTok the other day. A guy was like, oh, Mom, Dad, can I move back home? Like, I understand, like, I have to pay for the mortgage, but no one told me I had to pay for the water. I don't know why I have to pay for the water.
Yeah, those hard life lessons.
You learn them more when you own a business. Like, oh, everything is a fee.
Oh, just the paperwork involved. People always ask why I don't work for myself, and I'm like, I'm the one that would steal the petty cash and all the stamps, and then be mad because it's all gone.
Yeah. Fill out so many forms. You're like, I don't understand why. Like, I already did this one. Like,
right.
Doesn't this cover this?
This is how much I took in. This is how much I paid out. So you can have these 7 pennies.
Mm-hmm.
I do like your business model with it all, all included.
Yeah.
It's gotta be, but it's tough. It's like I had to read it 6 times where I was like, oh, look at the price, and I'd be like, oh yeah, that's.
Yeah. Cause I mean, I don't like, I have a problem with like the chain spas, but like I don't have a problem with like the therapists who charge extra for like hot stones and things like that. But since I do sports massage, I rarely just use like one thing on someone.
Right.
So it's like I've had a situation where I worked in a chain spa, and a client would benefit from 2 hot stones, but they pay $20 extra.
Right.
And so now I have to use 10 or more hot stones on them, so they feel like they got their money's worth, but I feel like I gave them a worse massage.
Yeah, gotcha.
And I also never like, if I tell someone I think this will help, I don't want to feel like, oh, I think this will help because you can spend more money.
Right. No. Yeah. I mean, we come to you as a professional, and that's like I expect you to find the bad spots, not me tell you what the bad spots are.
The only thing I'm going to charge extra for in the future is when I do kinesiology tape, and that's because it's just the brand I use is so expensive.
Yeah.
But if someone has their own of that particular brand,
Mm-hmm.
I won't charge them. So I'm just charging them for the tape.
I've used it a couple times and realized the biggest secret is standing in the shower once you have it on, covering it in its body soap, and letting it sit there for 8 minutes before you try to take it off.
Yeah, you do have some back hair.
Oh.
I learned that I have lower back hair. I didn't know
Was that a crushing moment for you?
Yeah, I didn't know I had lower back hair, but the tape said otherwise.
rode bike ride for a long time and
Mm-hmm.
shaved everything. And one day I was just like, you know what? I've just got a long drawn out problem. Luckily, I've got good skin and never broke out or anything.
Mhm.
One day I was just like, we're just gonna see what happens if it all grows.
Another thing about the kinesiology tape, I've done a little bit of it,
Yeah.
but it can get kind of complicated. Is to take it off is good to have alcohol.
Oh yeah.
It dissolves the glue. I have to look at the camera. I have in the past had experiences where it was not going.
Mm.
I was like, just 20 minutes for basically nothing. Something I will say is that your shoulders are internally rotated, but that's extremely common.
Mm.
And depending on and you have like the farm, right? I don't know how
Yes.
you work on that.
Lots of manual labor.
Okay. I'm personally not a big fan of nature. I tell people if you see me out camping and it's not like a camper, or if I'm like in a tent, call the police. I didn't
Yeah.
get that. Terrence does not sleep on the ground.
Yeah, ours is a fully functioning farm.
Yeah. And then I saw the camel and I was like, oh, that's, now I'm afraid of camels because I've watched these videos about how they can be vindictive.
They can be very, so the males, if they're not cut,
Yeah.
they go through a rut and they're extremely dangerous when they're in heat. Samson is cut. The one you should be scared of is Barco, the zebra.
Oh, okay.
He is very mean to most people. He's very sweet to me. But
Gotcha. I watched these videos. I was like, okay, dolphins are terrifying. Camels are terrifying. Donkeys are terrifying. Hippos.
Hippos kill more people than lions.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then personally, I'm terrified of horses.
Yeah, they're high strung anyway.
When I was in high school, we used to go out to, I guess, a farm, and they would help. They would have mentally disabled kids, like ride horses, and we would help them. But they realized I was not comfortable with the horses, so they put me on a horse.
Clean up.
Yeah. Which, while not fun, felt safer. I don't believe the horse shit was ever going to kick me.
Right.
And then every time I see a horse, I'm like, how did someone ever domesticate those things? They're huge.
Believe it or not, most of the were more they've been bred to be big like that. They started off as very small creatures, so they were more like almost like a Shetland.
Oh, okay.
So they weren't big and majestic when all this started.
Oh, okay. that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, a little bit bigger than a Shetland, but nothing like they look today.
Because I see them like, yeah, I don't think I would ever like attempt to ride it.
Yeah.
But then again, I just don't like nature. I mean, I'm happy that it exists.
Right.
Like, I'm not a Captain Planet villain. I just don't want to be near it. Stay in a nice urban environment with, you know, nature is like dogs.
I grew up all my life on a farm, and I always tell people my retirement is going to be high rise with white carpet, white tile, white couch.
Yeah.
I want the elevator to open up into my living room. No pets. I would probably lose my mind, but.
Yeah, I've never enjoyed it. Even when I would visit my great grandmother in Georgia, she didn't have any animals, but I was just like, it was just so far out.
Yeah.
I was just like, I don't. It was the kind of place. I always say, I want to live somewhere where someone murders me, somebody can hear me scream. I'm like, yeah, here, if somebody kills you, there's a good week before somebody finds out.
Find you. By that time, the dogs have eaten their toes off.
Even squirrels. I was outside of a CVS and I had to make a phone call. This cute little squirrel. I kind of felt bad for him because I don't know why he just, you know how some like wild animals just take a liking to you. Yeah. And he was like just following me on like, hey, I just want to hang out with you. And I was like, I don't know what kind of disease you have. Back away. I tried to take a picture because I'm like, I can't believe this.
Right. In case you were murdered by him.
Yeah, chasing me around the parking lot.
So what brought you from Florida?
I followed somebody.
No, sad.
I mean, it's Houston. You either follow someone or you came before a job.
Yeah.
Not that Houston's a bad place.
Any city is what you make it.
Yeah.
You know, there's plenty of culture. There's plenty. Have you done the rodeo yet?
No, I haven't. I don't know if I would say that. I'm not a big fan of Dallas.
Yeah.
I find the people in Houston to be nicer. And I find Houston to actually have trees.
Right. Not that you're an outside person, but it's nice to have them.
Yeah, it's nice to it's nice to see them. You know, I'm okay with like trees surrounded by concrete.
Yeah. If you get a chance, there's a gorgeous street two streets called North and South Street in the Museum District. And it is truly probably one of the most beautiful places in Houston.
Okay, I've probably been over there. I used to go running at Herman Park.
Okay, yeah, it's a couple blocks over. Great big huge houses on it.
Yeah.
A lot of people go out there to take photographs and stuff for weddings.
And when I first moved here, I was living in the third ward by Emancipation Park.
Okay, yep.
And my first few days here, I just took a long walk down Alabama Street.
Okay, yeah.
It was very nice. I like that Houston doesn't have zoning, so it's kind of.
You can put anything next to anything. Yeah.
And I I find places like I like, I think, what is it, West University has better architecture than like Highland Parkland. I was in Dallas for a year, and I kind of like, when I was in Highland, like when I drove through Highland Park, like I understood the word gaudy. I'm like, okay, that is just, I'm like, oh, okay, so it's like when you're rich but you don't have taste.
Right.
But then like I was, you know, in West University, like, oh, I would love to live in so many of these houses. They're very like nice looking. And they're not all uniform looking.
Right. That's the thing. You go to someplace like Phoenix and stuff like that. I don't know how you find anybody's house because they all look exactly the same.
I just wish that Houston had a nice beach.
Yeah. It's funny, Galveston will surprise you occasionally. Like during this past drought.
Yeah.
It really turned pretty down there because all the bayous and stuff were empty.
Yeah. I've never been to Galveston. I flew over on my way to Houston and was very disappointed because I remember Wolf Blitzer going crazy because I don't know what some hurricane went over Galveston.
Right, yeah.
And he was just freaking out, like, you know, I was like, I thought Galveston was like the eighth wonder of the world when he was talking. Like, Galveston's being destroyed. And I'm like, not Galveston. And I'm like, oh, it must be this like just beautiful like gleam and sitting in the sea. Like, I thought it would at least look like Destin. And
no, now you have to. There's pretty beaches. It's just going into the touristy area.
Yeah.
There's not pretty beaches there. I mean, you have to go a ways down the island.
Yeah.
Sort of to find that you know, sort of not white sand but sand.
Well, he just made it seem like it was just gonna be like Atlantic City, or, you know, as an island, and just this gorgeous gleaming, you know, resort. And I'm like flying, I'm looking for it, and I like look down, like, what is that little island, that dirty
sliver?
water? And then I'm like, I'm like, maybe that's an island near Galveston. And then I saw Houston, and I'm like, so that must have been Galveston. Like, you know, I don't want to rain on anyone's parade, but I grew up in like Fort Lauderdale. I get to be a beach snob.
No, I agree. But it's fun, you know, we'll have people come down here from like Iowa and stuff like that that have never seen the ocean, and they're just, you know, and again,
they're amazed.
The Gulf, and they're just amazed. You're like, you know, and they just embrace it, and it's so.
No, that water's brown enough that if anything touches my face, touches my foot, I'm just gonna like die instantly. I'm like, I'm just not even gonna be able to see what's beneath me. Not that I've ever heard about sharks in Galveston.
No. You're not gonna die of a shark attack in Galveston. Jellyfish.
Yeah, that's another thing I'm afraid of. Which is why I prefer being in the pool instead of.
I'm a pool guy.
Yeah. I like going to the beach but not getting in the water.
Something that overlooks the beach where they bring you a cocktail.
Yes. And plus, when I look at like the ocean, I'm like, oh, that's just fish pee and whale semen.
And raw sewage from some countries that just dump it right into the ocean.
I want to be somewhere where I can smell the chlorine. Which is weird. It definitely wasn't like that as a kid. We go out by the canals and catch cane toads, which I'm like now we're like I'm absolutely disgusting. We don't have them here in Houston. They're huge poisonous toads.
Oh, nice.
I think they do instruct you to kill them when you find them in Florida because they are invasive.
Invasive, yeah.
They're from South America. But they're poisonous, so like they don't have a lot of
Natural enemies.
Yeah. Some birds are smart enough to like eat them from the inside. So they'll like kill them, then open their mouth and eat them. But if you bite their skin, you're small, you know, a few cousins of mine have lost puppies who've bitten them.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah. If you're big enough, like an adult dog or a human, like you'll just get like sick. And they're very disrespectful. Most small animals are afraid of humans, but they're like, I'm poisonous. I don't care about you.
Yeah, I'll take you off.
Yeah. You just walk up to one and they just tap with your toe and it's just like looking at you. I was very happy to find out my dog growing up would not kill one because he was a Rhodesian Ridgeback.
Oh wow.
And he had a very strong prey drive.
Yeah.
Basically, if you were not a person or another dog, she was like, well, you just have to die. He even killed 6 of my neighbor's cats.
Wow.
And then one day, the first time I saw a cane toad, I screamed at him, and he was just looking at me like so confused. And I just ran out and grabbed him and I just took him in the house. And then I just took the cane toad and I put it in my neighbor's yard. Then the second time I went outside, he's like looking at me in his dog bowl. He's walking back and forth. And what's going on? I go in and there's a cane toad like the size of your head just sitting there eating his food. I'm like, well, at least I know you won't bite.
Right. Doesn't like the amphibians.
Other than that, he would kill everything. But just love people to death. I don't think he's ever met a human he didn't like. Worst guard dog ever.
Look tough.
Yeah, people were terrified of him. It was very funny. And I didn't raise him well, so he would jump on you. But he's not going to try to attack you. He just wants to knock you over and French kiss you. But the main thing is just keep his mouth away from your mouth.
We've got 2 Great Danes that are dumb as a box of rocks, but everybody's terrified of them.
And just then raise him to not understand that people don't like when a 70-pound dog runs at them.
Right. Full speed. That really feels good.
Yeah, you don't have too many problems up here. If you were very tight, you would not be saying that feels good.
No. Like I said, I don't carry tension in my back.
So is there a reason you have so many different types of animals on your farm?
Our main business is cattle. So we raise Irish Dexter cattle, which are a heritage breed of cattle. At one time, there were less than 700 in the world.
Oh wow!
They're and this is probably, if I'm giving you way too much information, poke me. But they're sort of the original breed of cattle. They're small. They're about half the size of a normal cow. And they're good for meat. They're good for milk, and they're actually good for oxen. So you could use, so if you have a small farm, you can use them for whatever purpose you need. And our current batch, they're 4 different colors. There's black, red, dun, and white. And so it's very much a genetic type market. So you can build for lack of a better word, you can build your own cow.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know, you want a white, and then there's polled, which means they're born without horns,
Okay.
and non-polled, which means they have horns.
So even the cows have horns, not just the bulls?
Right. Everybody can have horns.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. And then sort of the most unique trait of them, and again, take this how you want, and then it's not for lactose intolerant people.
Okay.
But most milk you drink has an A1 milk protein.
Mm-hmm.
The dexters have an A2 milk protein.
Okay.
And so an A1 milk protein's pretty large.
Mm-hmm.
And so people that are, again, not lactose intolerant, people that drink milk and like, oh, my tummy's a little upset.
Yeah.
That's because they're having trouble passing that larger protein.
Oh, okay.
So the A2 milk actually is easier to digest.
I see.
So if you're ever at the store and if you look really hard, there's probably 1 or 2 cartons it's labeled A2 milk.
Oh, okay.
So it's just,
Yeah.
so again, we sell it to a lot of people that, you know, have children that are a little iffy on milk.
Yeah.
They can, you know, milk these cows and drink their A2 milk.
Okay.
So then the coon pigs, they're from New Zealand.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be basically God, now I can't remember the name of the meat. They're supposed to be the very best cut of pork.
Okay.
So we're raising those. Then we have milk goats, Nubian milk goats, and then chickens, some donkeys. I mean, most of the stuff is just like the camel and the zebra are just yard art.
Okay.
You know. But like the donkeys and the cattle and the pigs are all for sale.
I see. Yeah, I definitely don't drink milk. I'm not someone you want to know when I drink milk.
So definitely lactose intolerant.
Yes.
Okay.
Not sure why it took me until my early 20s.
Oh no.
My brother he was lactose intolerant, I think around 8 years old.
Mm.
Me, it wasn't until my 20s that it seemed to hit.
Yeah, when they first started this A2 stuff, they're like, it's perfect for the lactose intolerant people, and we're like, yeah, not really.
You know, it depends on what I have. Cheese I can tolerate sometimes.
Yeah.
Milk, no.
No.
Ice cream, which is like the high fat content of ice cream, that's fine. I don't know why, but whey protein just gives me the worst gas I've ever experienced. Like, it is like I'm like holding onto a counter crying. I feel like, you know, I'm in some like horror movie and something's gonna just burst through my stomach. So I have to make sure that the whey protein is micro-filtered. Also, how I found out I don't like chocolate. That's how I found out that white chocolate is not chocolate.
No, right.
I had some. I'm like, oh, I feel so bad. I was like, oh, it's a milk product. I imagine you have to. Well, I'm imagining you're being pulled a lot by different animals.
Yes. And like hay, you know, hay and unloading feed.
And that's the one thing I like about massage. You can learn a lot about somebody by working on them. If you're not as muscular on this side.
I know. Thanks. Now I'm gonna be depressed the rest of the day.
So that makes me like wonder, do you just well, I guess because you're right-handed.
Yeah.
You just do so much. I guess for you, like a lot of your muscular actually probably does come from the manual labor. And not as much from lifting weight.
Yeah, I don't lift a lot of weight. I lift a lot of little weight.
Yeah. you gotta have the pigs drag you on the left side.
Right. Got it. Noted. No, that's probably from showing cows most of my life because you got to drag them around on a lead.
Gotcha.
And they do not like being dragged around on a lead.
I had a client, I could tell she liked to punch with her left arm because she did Taekwondo and her rhomboids were visible, and that's very rare on anybody. You just normally see it on like professional boxers or bodybuilders. And so I said, well, you're either like you either punch a lot with your left hand, or you you like to elbow people in your sleep.
It's amazing that we went from a society where there was so much physical labor to the 70s and 80s and really 90s where there was somewhat gyms but not really, and now just that just a different type of.
I listened to an audio book called Exercises by this professor. He basically said that exercise is actually very unnatural.
Sure, no, I can agree with that.
But he says the reason we do it is that we just don't move as much as we used to.
Right, we're not pulling knobs and
Well, not even that. I didn't even know, like, for example, like he'll follow like hunter-gatherer tribes in Africa, and they're like, the women will go out like 8 to 10 miles.
Sure.
And then dig like a 6-foot hole.
Right.
And, get tubers, which, I'm pretty sure you've dug with a shovel. That is extremely hard work. Like that digging it's intense. And the guys will go out like 10, 12 miles, chase some animal down to death.
Right.
And then, drag it back home. And that's just, that's a lot of work to get breakfast.
Right. But that's what, that's sort of the new exercise now is, you go to the gym, you do your cardio, but then you've got to have a couple cardio episodes during the day too.
Yeah.
Even if it's, a 20-minute walk or, whatever.
I used to walk a lot more until I had these heel spurs. Very upsetting. I don't do as many of the exercises I should do to keep the inflammation down, but I told my doctor, I said, 2020, Christmas 2020, I went on a 20-mile walk. So it's not like I love walking.
Right.
But these hill spurs just, it's like walking on rocks.
Oh, sure.
Never enjoyed running.
No, I'm not a runner. My hands do something weird when I run, and I'm not comfortable with it.
But walking, I could walk all day. One thing I miss about Florida is it's safe to walk down the street.
Yeah. I like to get on a bike. One of the things I'd like to do is anything I want to do, I want to walk out my front door and do it.
Okay.
I would love to kayak full time, but unless it's out my front door, I'm not going to kayak I don't have that freedom to be like, okay, we're going to go kayaking today. Let's load the kayak up. Let's, pack for lunch. I want to be able to roll that kayak out the front yard and get into a river. It's like people down here that's like, what's your sport? Snow skiing. It's like, you live in Houston. That's not your sport. You go twice a year.
Yeah, you can. There's no snow skiing.
Right. What's your sport? Mountain climbing. Okay. How's that going?
Yes, Houston's pretty flat.
Yeah.
I miss walking, but even today I was not late, but I got back on time for my last client. I should have gotten here early because my foot was just killing me.
So what's the sort of treatment for that?
Well, I don't think it's big enough that they would do surgery.
Yeah.
So I'm supposed a lot of the exercises that you do, I'm supposed to be doing. I just don't do them. Because I'm supposed to be working on my posture and my balance. My doctor said that basically a lot of people have heel spurs, so the heel spur is not the issue, but it's inflammation combined with the heel spur is the problem. So if I don't have the inflammation, it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
I just don't do them. I find those exercises just so boring. And I'm more of a cardio person.
Yeah.
But I like ellipticals. I really love ellipticals and treadmills but just prefer to walk. But
yeah,
I like to pump up the music and pretend that I am Beyonce at home.
No. So you've been known to burst down the song.
It would be quite awkward to see me at the gym.
Oh.
Singing. Even though I wonder if someone I used to walk at this park before my feet were hurting, like in the winter, when it was slow after COVID. And I wonder if anyone looked outside their house and saw this big black man walking around the park, singing and dancing about how he wasn't man enough for me by Tony Braxton.
You know what? Perfectly fine in this day and age.
I was like, I was Tony Braxton for a few minutes.
Man, that voice.
She probably would not have liked my singing.
Your rendition of it?
Yeah, she's one of those people where it's like her and Cher. It's like most people who their version of their voice is probably insulting to them.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure Cher just want to say fuck you when she hears someone trying to do her voice. I don't sound like that.
I think it's hilarious, and I don't know if it's a true story, but she tells it that Dolly Parton participated in a drag queen contest and came in second. For herself. They were all Dolly Parton lookalikes, and she came in second.
I can kind of see that. There are some people who pull it off well.
Oh yeah. Takes a lot of money to look that trashy.
Mm-hmm. I had a massage from this woman from China who didn't speak a lot of English, so she really couldn't even tell you what she was doing.
Yeah.
And it was, whew. I mean, I was questioning, I was literally lying there, why is she doing this to me? I didn't say anything about my knee. Why is she doing this to me?
Yeah.
And then I got off the tape and oh my God, I feel like Tigger. I just want to bounce around. I didn't know my knee was bothering me until she worked on it, and it felt amazing.
Ancient Chinese secret.
But I understand that sometimes it hurts a lot, and then you just feel so good afterwards.
The release, yeah.
And everyone responds differently. I tell therapists if I hoot like an owl, that's a good sign. I'll hoot like an owl and kick my other leg. But if I say ouch,
that's it.
Yeah. Get a massage from a woman, I say, I want you to massage me like I'm an ex who you hate. I want to hear you mumbling under your breath. I tell people, I would do so much worse to myself if I can get outside my body and work on myself.
Yeah. I think we all could.
If I could massage me, I would be doing this to myself.
Oh.
Thai massage once while I was taking, a tabletop class, and she would work on me and teach me as she was working on me, and she walked on my back with her knees because she didn't have access to her poles.
Oh wow, yeah, that could go deep.
And like the whole time I'm just like, oh, thank you, like because it hurt so much, but it felt so good.
Oh.
Okay, that's pretty good. I do tell people my Instagram page is both advertising and a warning. You have some tightness in your hip flexor, just relax. Still very good though. You're very flexible. Now I'm just gonna see how your sacrum moves. Push down on that. I need to buy an elliptical for my apartment. I would use the crap out of that thing if I had one.
As long as it doesn't have to become a place to hang clothes on.
Yeah. Well, if it was an elliptical, it wouldn't. I love it. It's the walking motion I enjoy.
Yeah.
Like I have an exercise bike that I got when my feet were at the worst. Because now I actually do know what I can do to help with the pain.
Mm-hmm.
Like for I would say almost like 2 years, I just basically.
Kid came over yesterday that we've known forever, and he's, I think he's probably 35 or 36 now, and you know, used to show cow's farce and stuff like that, and he was up at the back of the truck, and you know, for the first 20 years of his life, he'd just jump down, you know, and I saw him crawl down, and I'm like, hey, I'm like, remember when you used to just hop down there? Like, he's like, yeah, I just can't do that. He's like, you get up there and you just start thinking about it. And I'm like, we probably hopped out of 1,000 back of pickup trucks all our life. And I said, I just ease myself off of it now. But even they say, like, as we age, like, our equilibrium goes. So, like, roller coasters aren't fun anymore.
Yeah. Well, I've always been afraid of heights. Even as a kid, I was like the kid screaming at other kids to get away from me. When like I was like getting on the slide, like back away.
Back away. I need my space.
Yes.
You're taking up my air.
Yeah, I'm gonna fall. Get away. But I loved roller coasters because, well, when I was younger, I thought they were like controlled fear. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, this is like, I'm not gonna die, but like, it was really exhilarating for me. Until I found out that people actually do die. It's like, okay, never mind. But I used to love roller coasters because like I, was terrified of heights, and then getting on a roller coaster, I was like, I had that fear, but I felt safe at the same time.
Yeah.
So I've tried the stair stepper a few times. Like, I can't do this. I'm too high up.
Well, you got to keep focused on it. You can't like check your phone and.
Yeah. I am off the ground, terrified of heights and clumsy.
And these stairs aren't going anywhere.
Yeah. And then I'm still not sure what happened. I think my doctors just were not, giving me good care. And I found out I had like a predisposition to blood clots.
Oh, wow.
And years ago, my doctors didn't check it out until like COVID. But I passed out after like walking downstairs. And for the longest time, I was terrified of stairs. But I didn't have a heart attack because they can check for that.
Yeah.
But I do think it was probably a blood clot.
Wow.
Well, I tell people COVID saved my life because if it wasn't for COVID, they wouldn't have checked. Well, if it wasn't for COVID, I may not have had like as many blood clots as I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, you shouldn't have this many blood clots in your 30s.
We have to raise up a little bit for that one.
I forget who it was, but there was a professional basketball player who actually has the same issue. But he has a predisposition to blood clots. So if you ever see me walking downstairs,
just keep an eye on it.
I look like a 70-year-old woman. Like, hold on, let me hold on to the rail as I take this step down. Like, it's really, you see me walking down. I like.
Do you side step down or do you do the?
I do a full. If my heels are killing me, it's the side step.
Yeah.
But like normally I do the full step, but it's like I'm never running downstairs.
Yeah. Oh. Ooh.
I did tell my physical therapist, we were working on like, strengthening my hips and, feet so that I didn't have all this pain. I was like, a lot of the stuff you have me doing, like this is stuff I did when I was a kid.
Yeah.
The stuff you do now, actually. Like he would have me walk on this foam board that was kind of thin.
Right.
So I would like walk one foot in front of the other. I'm like, oh, as a kid, like we used to love, like we would jump out the car and like go walk on something like this.
Right, yeah.
It just kind of showed me that a lot of play that kids do is like, it's really preparing you for the real
world.
Sure.
Like, I spend a ton of time. Like, if there's a curb that's walkable, I'll walk on the curb.
Yeah. And then he'll have me walk a certain way for balance. I'm like, oh, so it's hopscotch. I'm paying you $90 an hour to play games, which it definitely helped.
Right.
I am the biggest shill for physical therapy. It's kind of like, I'm shill for physical therapy, but basically when I'm telling people to go to physical therapy, I'm basically telling them to behave the way your doctor has you, or most doctors don't have analyze people's gait or anything like that. And I have so many people who come in and just horrible pain. And it's had they just gone to if they went to a physical therapist every year.
Yeah.
And they just kind of analyze how they move, how they said, how they lived, they would find problems more quickly, and they would experience just less pain.
Yeah. Well, just like my hip pain at one time. I'm just amazed that, lucky enough, he was like, "You're dragging your suitcase wrong." That's it.
It's good you found a doctor who has that understanding of the musculoskeletal system.
Let's see, the one thing good and bad about him, you can't call in and say, "Hey, I've got a sinus infection, send me a Z-Pack." He's one of those, "You got a sinus infection? I can take 20 minutes to see you. Come in right now."
He wants to be very thorough.
Yeah. I did a few teledoc things during COVID and stuff, and it just, I can see, if it's just something very common that they, there's always that basic stuff they do. But there was one that wanted to do my dermatologist exam over Zoom, and I'm like, I just don't think that works.
You have to have a really good camera, but then you can't really touch anything, palpate anything. And even then, you're having to move the camera around you.
Right.
Might be the future. One day, maybe I'll do massage.
Zoom massages. That'd be awesome.
When I'm tired, sometimes I just joke I'll just go in and I'll take a foam roller and I just have them foam roll themselves. I'll just watch.
I did have that massage one time where the woman used an hour massage and rubbed me for maybe 20 minutes and then used her spiritual hands to go over me and kept asking me if I felt it. And I'm like, yeah, I don't.
That sounds like Reiki.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been into the energy stuff.
Yeah.
I used to be more into the relaxation massages.
Mm-hmm.
I actually used to be very good at them. I used to do them a lot, but I had a lot of people in 2021 who were just kind of horrible customers. I'm not sure they were just dealing with the election poorly or dealing with the pandemic poorly, but it just made me, it pushed me to a point where you know what? I don't want to deal with anyone ever again who's stressed out. I'm not your husband, your wife.
Right.
I'm not your kid. I'm not your boss. I'm not the person who made you mad. But I used to be very good at the relaxation massage. A lot of people don't know how to relax, actually.
Yeah, I hate to call them relaxation. Mine was more like just doing something for myself.
Yeah. When I did the relaxation, I would actually read people do breathing, because a lot of people don't know how to breathe properly. They don't know how to, like a lot. I've actually worked with a lot of people who don't know how to relax.
Right.
Like I'm surprised that you can't relax because you said you have ADHD.
No, so bad. But that's why I do stuff like this to help combat and control it.
I remember I worked at Starbucks. I had a coworker with ADHD, and he refused to take his medication and would drink a lot of coffee.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well.
And he was a great guy. People loved working with him, but I had never experienced that much energy in an adult before.
Yeah, I get the zoomies bad.
It took me a while to, acclimate to him. But the first day I worked with him, I just went and sat in my car and just like shook for my lunch. I was like, he's like a 28-year-old, 4-year-old.
I tell people if they come and like stay the weekend with me, I'm like, do not try to keep up with me. You can't. You physically can't. If you want to sit on the couch, say, Joe, I'm going to sit on the couch, and that's perfectly fine with that.
I had an ex like that. Why are you so skinny? Like, oh, you consider doing Tai Chi relaxing. Not Tai Chi, you consider doing Taekwondo relaxing. Like most people consider that an exercise. They don't consider that they're like, downtime. My downtime is sitting down in front of a TV, picking up a controller, and running over hookers.
It takes me 3 hours to watch a 1-hour TV show.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Here I am thinking my dream house would have a day bed and stuff next to a waterfall.
I'll have to show you my Zen bed at the house.
Yeah, those cows they're giving you a workout.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you're having to brace yourself with this leg a lot.
Oh yeah.
Do some scraping, so this may not be fun.
Okay. I have positive thoughts about it.
Oh yeah, that's a lot. Oh, that crunchiness.
I'm not cereal.
I normally tell people like this, I'm like, you can pave a whole driveway with all this gravel.
It's out what you do.
But they said, I guess it's because, I feel better. And it was a positive review,
Yeah.
but the way it started out, I'm like, why would I do this to myself? That's not. We're just traumatizing people. But I have my little post over there, it says, I'm not saying it's going to be easy.
Definitely already have like 4 friends in mind that I'm gonna bring here.
The quads feel pretty good though. I just say to myself, I don't care if you hate me today.
I'll love you tomorrow.
Yes. I just always think about the person who, you know, it's why I went into sports massager. He said, when you work on me, it's, you know, it's painful, but the next day I can run faster and further. So hopefully tomorrow you can just go out and actually just pick up one of the cows. Yeah, see, that's good. You don't feel any of that crunchiness. It's a little bit there, but barely any.
So what is the crunchiness?
It's fibrosis. So it is so you have fascia. So you know when you open a pack of chicken,
Right.
And you have that kind of white film.
Yep.
So that's fascia. That covers your entire body. And sometimes when you have an injury, your body will heal itself and it'll try to reorient the fascia, but it'll do it incorrectly. And so you'll just end up with all these little just bumps everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's what's called fibrosis. And just relax as much as possible. I know you have ADHD, so that might be an issue.
Do what?
I said relax as much as possible. Yeah. And if you can't, that's fine.
No, I try to help. That's okay. You need to say don't help.
Yeah, don't help. Yeah, if you want to make a massage therapist happy, don't help. If I had a problem doing something, I just wouldn't do it.
You almost got a daddy out of that one. Oh.
Let's see.
Oh, so you're gonna do it again.
Okay, that's a lot better. Careful, because the inner thigh is pretty sensitive. I had someone cut me there, and whew.
Oof, I can imagine.
It was in a class. I was reaching out for someone to save me from him. Scoot over towards me just a little bit. Perfect. And then you keep that arm up because I'm going to work your psoas. From here, work your diaphragm as well. this is just working your iliacus. So this is the muscle that joins with your psoas further down. Let's see. So what I'm gonna have you do now, you're gonna take this leg and you're just gonna slowly, you can leave your knee bent, but just lift your leg just a little bit and up and down. Yeah, just perfect. I'm trying to. Okay, relax. I think I found it. Do you feel tension going up towards your belly button? Okay. That's your psoas. There we go, right there. I can strum that like a guitar.
Oh.
I tell people when this muscle is tight, it can make it look like you have a bigger belly, because it attaches to your spine, so it will literally pull your spine forward and have your stomach kind of droop down. Okay. How's that feeling?
That you can feel a release in it.
And relax. You have pretty good range of motion. That's very good. That's good, okay. And unfortunately, Samsung did not put the bigger storage on the smaller phone.
Oh.
So my phone only goes up to 256 and not 512 or 1 terabyte. feel all that.
Was this something you'd recommend people to do at home, or this is only professional?
Oh yeah, some people do. If you do scrape at home, I do recommend you just kind of go light.
Okay, yeah.
A lot of people actually do this at home. Actually, got a little bit of trouble because I was telling a client about this, and I said, "Oh, you should get this. This will be really good for your neck." And she did, but she made her boyfriend do it.
Oh.
And so now he does not like me. Yeah, a lot of people actually scrape themselves. And I can tell sometimes I'm working on someone like, oh, I feel like no fibrosis. Oh, almost forgot to do your psoas. Scoot towards me. Good. Just on the head, don't hold on it to anything. That's just to stretch out your spine. Go. And push the abdomen out the way. I think this is it. Do you feel tension? Yep, okay.
Oh.
I had one coworker when I worked at a chain spot. She's like, well, how do you know when you're on the psoas? I'm like, normally you'll know. They'll jump or something. Okay. Do a little work on your diaphragm. This could be good for your back as well. The diaphragm connects to the spine. When you see a guy with an 8-pack, the top two are the diaphragm actually. This is where you're supposed to breathe when you're relaxed. And if you practice breathing from here, your voice can get a little deeper. Because also when you sing and you sing from a deeper register, you're singing from the diaphragm. That's actually really good that your arm is hanging down and not bouncing much. Yeah, you can do this yourself. In Korea, they actually use scraping as like a beauty tool. Everything is a beauty tool in Korea. They even cup the face for beauty though.
Ooh.
Oh, just how it feels.
Do what?
Oh,
It seems like it's just puffy red marks all over your face.
Oh, okay.
Like that's one of those you couldn't go back to work after it's done. I wouldn't think.
That's not too bad. You got a little bit of that crunchiness. Yeah, you're actually really good here.
I think it's very odd that you can hear your skin, but hey.
Well, that's actually the fibrosis
Yeah.
that we're hearing. Yeah, I guess it could be weird to have someone work on you, you just hear all that. That's good. That's what I'm looking for. That is all excellent. You don't seem to have a lot of inflammation going on. stab you in the eye?
I got 2 of them.
I have a feeling that if someone who works on a farm, you probably need depth perception.
Oh.
Interesting. You're not as muscular on this side, at least with the arm. The chest seems similar, but you have more of that fibrosis on this side. Yeah, it's intense. That is excellent. I will not have to torture you here much.
It is Sunday, the day of thanks.
Mm-hmm. to do that a little bit better. You arch up a little bit here, and that's because you're trying to get the range of motion in your shoulder. And just relax. Good. Now what I'm going to have you do is you're going to go up to here, and you're going to go all the way down, all the way back and forward, nice and slow. And all the way down, yeah. And then back up.
And then there's that release after it that just feels so good.
Mm-hmm. It makes it worth
Eh.
it. Like, you're not the one who went through it.
Right. At least there's no blood.
Yeah. Just keep your blood to yourself. There's a reason I did not go into nursing. I cannot stand the sight of blood. I have 3 phobias: blood, heights, and lightning. So let's see what we got here. And just relax. I charge people who help me extra. I should start saying that. That's what I do. Every time you try to help me, that's an extra $1.
Like an Airbnb fee.
Mm-hmm.
We don't accept tips, but we do have Airbnb fees.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. You ordered a clean sheet? Oh.
Well, by Texas law.
You have to provide one. Doesn't say you don't have to charge for it.
That's true. That makes sense. I was having issues with this latissimus dorsi on the other side when you were on your stomach.
Damn, that latissimus dorsi, or whatever you just said.
Yeah, latissimus dorsi.
Okay.
It's the muscle that guys, spend their whole life in the gym trying
Trying to make big.
Yeah, so they look like they have wings.
Flared back, yeah. Your customer I'm trying to bring in Sunday has definitely flared back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Did it pretty good, but I just want to make sure, oh, I love that. That's perfect.
I can feel it